How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. And today I want to show you how to beat Bloodbath. I will go in detail about every single part, show you easier ways to do each part and how to get consistent at them, and also how to practice the level. So here we have the level, and I will just go right into the very first ship part. Is very hard. It just seems very hard at the beginning because it is a tight space. Like, you can see in other guys, like, people are like, oh yeah, you're going to be playing this every attempt, so you will eventually get consistent. And yeah, you will get consistent on this part. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. At the very first click, you should click harder. Not that hard, but you should click harder because you want to. You see, there is this space here, and you want to make sure you have enough height so you reach to this space so you can have more time to react. So I recommend doing is 1 hard click at the very beginning and then 5 clicks slowly progressing upwards towards the very end. Once we understand this, we go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the very last one, you want to make sure you want to release earlier than you think, because this gap is very tight, and if you aim earlier, you will most likely always fall right before the spike. So it's much easier. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and see, I clicked that 5th input and I released earlier, so I have enough time to... Okay, so what you do here is you press, and you try to press that yellow orb in the middle. You can press it early, like you can press it like that, but it's much easier to just little bit in the middle and then go up for that blue orb. So you click 1, 2, and you want to make sure you are in the very middle of it. You don't want to hit it too late, because if you hit it too late, that's what will happen. You want to make sure you are hitting the same as you did with the yellow orb. Let's now do it in full. Boom. It gets... Definitely this part gets the most consistent from the whole level, but you definitely need to practice it because it is harder than it seems at the very beginning. This straight fly here is funny because people say, oh, this is just a straight fly. A lot of people don't actually know this, so I'm going to show you how to do it. Like, your straight flying, you can of course do something like this, you can spam a lot, but that's not the best way to straight fly. You go 1, 2, 3. And then you see, this just readjusts your position. So let's do this in faster speed right now. 1, 2, 3. And I'm not clicking anything, look. 1, 2, 3. I'm not clicking anything, and it just readjusts my position. And then of course you want to start clicking more. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on the last one, as you might see, you just wait until you hit this portal. So you click just ever so slightly before the portal, before you release. And once you enter the portal, you just click twice more and hold down the button. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Understanding that technique I'm showing you right now takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's very important because in the harder levels there's a lot of gameplay changes like that, and especially a lot of gravity ship portals. So you need to understand how that mechanic works in order to pass some of those parts. You want to make sure to follow what I said. So click once before the portal, let it do the job for you, then straight yourself out, and on the last one just click twice after you enter the mini portal. This part, I'm saying you should hold down the button. You can go here and then do the spam like that. It's much harder. What you just do is you hold down the button. Look, I'm not doing anything. I'm just holding down the button, and the ball here automatically goes to the blue pad. So that's what you should do. You should just always hold down the button there. And this ball spam, I've seen a lot of people struggling with. I will give you a click pattern that's 100% consistent for this, and you will most likely do it every attempt. Only timing in this first section is this part. You want to hit this late, and then the next 3 clicks are just buffers. Just listen to my clicks. See? I clicked the first one late, and then the next 3 I immediately buffered. And that is 100% consistent. You just want to make sure the first click is late. So once again, hold late, 1, 2, 3. If you go too fast, like that, you can die. So you just want to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 1, 2, 3, 5, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See? If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See? That was too fast. But if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is way more consistent. So let's do this part in full with the click pattern. Hold 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That ball part with that click pattern is 100% consistent, and you just want to make sure you click the first timing later so you can buffer the next 3 clicks. Entering the first very hard part in the level, I would say, just because this transition exists, and you can do this part in 2 ways actually. You can hold down the button to the top of the portal, release, and it will automatically go in this section. However, I find that's really inconsistent because look what happens. If we're going at a super fast speed, it's going to be really easy to just do that, and you need to make sure you are hitting the very top of the portal. And if you hit it too high, that's what will happen. So I do not recommend it. Much better option is to just go and click once in the very middle of the portal. It makes this part way more consistent. So we go hold, click, hold, click, click. There is just only one click in that portal. You don't need to mash it. You just click once so you are positioned correctly for the very next part, which I'm going to get right now. So in this part right here, you just click, you do one big sweeping stroke. You do one click, and then you can do this with minimal amount of clicks, but I will show you what I do. You go 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you hold down the button on the very last one. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. You're entering this yellow portal. You have a lot of time to wait actually. Like look how much time there is to wait. You don't need to press it here. You can wait and then press it here. So let's do this part in full with the whole click pattern. Hold 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That part is the first hard part. You want to make sure you practice the transition especially. I showed you how to do it more consistently than usually. However, it's still not an easy part. Keep that in mind because that killed me a lot when I first got to this level. So I want to make sure that will not become a choke point for you. This ball is so oddly specific because everyone that plays this level says it's super easy. I disagree. This ball part is actually quite technical because some of these timings, like this looks super easy, right? And technically it's not the hardest part, but first of all, it's off sync. Just if you click to the music, bam, bam, bam. See, it just doesn't work. Just 100% muscle memory based. This is just one of the parts that you have to practice a lot. You just want to make sure you click later than you think because the music does not sync to the clicks. Boom, 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 boom. That is an earlier one. And then the rest is fairly chill. Now we have Michigan, which is considered by many the hardest part of the level, and it takes the most amount of attempts to practice by a long shot. Someone might disagree and say 42% ship. I feel like that's more a natural part because that's just a straight line. This is way more technical gameplay. This is why people going into Bloodbath and just thinking of ship. This is not ship, and this is the very first major roadblock for everyone who plays this level. So what you do on this part is you focus on the outlines of the spikes, and once your cube is about to touch the outline, you click. See? Once it's about to touch the outline, you click. Let's do this one more time. About to touch the outline, that was a little bit too late. About to touch, and about to touch, and you just click to that. Every spike has these outlines, and every spike is the same exact hitbox as the previous one. Boom, boom, boom. You want to focus on those outlines, but you don't want to focus exactly on them because I clicked exactly on the outline, but about to touch that black outline of the spike, and this makes the first part of the Michigan way easier in my opinion. And then we enter such a weird part because there's 2 ways you can do this. You can jump into it and do the straight line like that, or you can just go from the bottom and do it like that. This is the first moment that is a totally preference thing. However, I suggest going from the bottom, because going from the top, you can just hit that while flying down, and it's way easier to just go from the bottom and do a straight line like that, because you don't have the same problem. The only problem you have with going from the bottom is like doing that or jumping too early. So you want to make sure you first enter the portal and then straight fly like that. If you prefer going from top, go from top, and if you prefer going from bottom, go from bottom. I personally do from bottom because you have just more ship control. This ball, you just want to make sure you go directly in the middle of these spikes. You cannot go too early or too late. There's not really visual cues you can use here. This is the part of Michigan that you just have to brute force your way through it, and it will just get eventually consistent. There's no tips you can really have in this part. You just 1, 2, 1, 2. That's it. However, I have a lot of things to say about this UFO. This UFO is very interesting because at first it seems impossible. Like, you played this level for the first time and you're like, how am I going to do this part? First of all, you want to transition into the UFO. You can actually click it too early as the ball, like even like that, and go upside down. So you want to make sure you go like that. But if you go too early, as the UFO, that will happen. So you want to make sure you wait a very tiny bit before going right after that. And now about the UFO itself, very specific with its strict timings. What you want to focus in this part on are, again, the black outlines of spikes. Like, once you're about to hit the black outline of the spike, you just click. But if you click it too early, obviously you will die because of the strict timing. So you go, boom, there's the outline. That was too early, but there's the outline. And on the very last one, you have, as you might see, the spikes are a little bit more lenient, so your timing is going to be a bit easier because of that. And you want to hold for the Q portal, but we'll get to that. As soon as you can master the technique here, just hitting it very late on the actually outlines of the spikes, not the spikes themselves. Boom, boom, and boom. Let's do this in normal speed right now. See, like, you focus on those outlines and you can do this basically with more or less the same click pattern. You don't really get off track too much. Once you learn that one specific click pattern, you will most likely land on the same spikes every time. So, there's the outline, and on the last one, you go much more late because you have a timing right after it. So if you go too early, you will just not make it. You want to make sure you are flying downwards to the portal and then you hold with the click so the triple spike is done. Go boom. And then the next two triple spikes are just triple spikes. You can die to them, obviously, but they are way easier than the first set of triples in the beginning of the part. The wave is interesting because you can do this in two ways. You can, of course, spam like a god, like that. But that's if you know you can do it. If you're going to be playing this and first time you get here, you don't want to do that. I recommend just clicking. Go 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You want to click in between the spikes. You see, I clicked in between the spikes. I went in between the spikes, and it just makes it more consistent. Because if you are going to spam there, you can hit the edges of the spikes really easily. Once you are here, it's better to just do this double click for the wave, because these spikes are straight. And then on the last one, we just click that and hold. So let's do the full part. And now for Evasium's part, the ship is rather easy. Like, you want to make sure you are flying not too hard on the very first input. If you do, you will always hit this spike. So, wait and then click. Wait and click, and then you just progress with the straight fly. That mini wave, there's no tricks. This mini wave is one of the easiest parts of the level, so you definitely should not have any problems with it. I highly doubt anyone actually has any issues. This big wave, there's a click pattern. I think this big wave is definitely a challenging part in a way. So you want to go high into the portal. If you go too low, you will land like here. And we want to land here so we can do the click, obviously. 1, 2, 1, 2. You can do it with long sweeping strokes, but I prefer doing this with a double click in the middle. You can do it like that and it's a little bit easier. However, if you're not feeling comfortable with doing those double clicks, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the very last input here, you want to go in the upper portion of the portal. Why? Well, here's what happens if you go low. You will transition into the UFO and transition like that. Up and release before the portal. Up and release before the portal. Boom. See, that's so consistent. But if you go too low, that's what will happen. So we want to go up and not hold through the portal because you will jump. We want to boom, let go. Now the UFO is just a click pattern. I will show you my click pattern. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's the click pattern, but there's a few clicks you want to be aware of. You want to make sure you are clicking fast, because if you go like 1, 2, 1, 2, you go 1, 2, you can hit like the spike up top. We don't want to do that. You want to go 1, 2, and you see you're always at the pink orb. So you go 1, 2, 1, and then look how much time you have to wait. I'm not clicking anything. Look how much time. You can click literally here, and you can still do it. Here, the same thing. You wait to the last second. 1, 2, 1, and look how much time there is. You want to make sure you click these 1, 2 timings faster than later, because you will hit the spikes. 1, 2, and I hit the spike. So you want to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you want to go on the first one early because there is this hitbox here, as you might see. So we want to go early on the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just get more height as you go into the portal. So you go 1, 2. You can do this with like 1, 2, 3, but it's way more inconsistent. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just go 3 times to the portal. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And now let's do the full part once again from the beginning. 1, 2, high, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that's the part. You can definitely do it with enough practice. It's the part that builds more pressure, especially when you get past Michigan, which is one of the hardest parts of the level. Now entering skill-wise, a lot of people say this is the hardest part of the level. You can do this with 2 click patterns. 1 click like that, but that's a very dicey way of doing it. I would just recommend going those 3 clicks as I said, and then clicking twice, and then falling in between these spikes here. That is way more consistent and way more safe, because if you're going to do this with 1 long ship, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you on the second one want to go a little bit higher, because you want to go the yellow portal. So you go 1, 2, 1, 2, and on the actual part here, this is a hard flying section. People do this in 2 ways. They just do like a flying like that, and then they do a straight fly like that. But I feel like that's way more risky. So you want to make sure you're flying upwards into the portal, hold down the button, and then continue from then on with a straight fly. 1, 2, hold, with a straight fly. And here is the same story. People, what they do is they just fly in the portal and do like that, which you can do if you're feeling badass. But I feel like the best way of doing this is to landing on the block, landing on the platform before the portal, and then waiting, and then slowly doing a straight fly. You go low into the platform, hold down the button, do a straight fly, and it just works. It just works perfectly fine. If you are going to do like a straight fly like this, it's much more difficult to steady yourself in the middle. So you should be able to pretty much always have the exact height you want. If you're flying like that, it's much more difficult to actually align your ship with the straight fly. We are getting into the second part of the cracks part. What you do is you wait a bit, and then if you click this yellow orb too early, that's what will happen. So you wait a bit. You cannot only click this, you have to actually hold for like a split second and then let go. So you go late, hold for a split second. You have to make sure you're going to click hard on the first input so you can do the straight line. If you do a super skinny click like that, you will just not make it. So you want to make sure you will do this heavy click. The first click needs to be very heavy. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And here's a little bit of a trick you have to know. This is not aligned. This is a little bit lower. You can even just tell a difference. Like this on the left is higher than the structure on the right. I don't know why this is just lower, but if you are just going to go straight, you are not going to make it. So you're flying downwards. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. To the full part. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hold. Land on the platform. Then go into straight fly lower. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. See, it works very well. It's a very consistent part after some time. For this part right here, it's kind of weird because you can see that these blocks are not aligned, so your cube just kind of falls down. And you want to make sure that you are clicking early. Early, late, early, super late, and early. That's it. That's all you need to know about that. You want to make sure until you hit this red cloud here as a visual cue, and then you start clicking. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you go 1, 2. Wait a bit. If you go too early here, there's a possibility of hitting the. See, you can hit the cogwheel here, and if you go too late, you can click this. You can clip into this. So you go 1, 1, 2, 3. Both of those portals need to be late. If you click them too early, you will do something like this, and we don't want to do that. Especially on this, you need to make sure you are going at a very specific height, and I'll show you why. You want to make sure you are going. If you do that, this click becomes really hard. But if you click like here, this click is much more consistent. So you want to make sure, as you're about to touch the gear, click, and then this click is way easier. If you're going to do it like this, then you can still do the click, but it just becomes way more inconsistent in general as a part. So, as soon as you are about to hit this gear here, click, and then do the rest of the UFO. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. That part is not the hardest part of the world, but there's a few parts that can definitely kill you. A lot of people underestimate that UFO. Same with this ball, and this ball is quite deadly actually because of the very first input. Little bit of a visual cue. When you go on this, you can click around here and it will just work. That's a visual cue and you should just aim for it. If you go right before it, even here, you will hit that spike. So we just do that, and that's just a visual cue you should be using. It's right after you're about to pass this line here, you click in this little block. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. All of those clicks at the end are buffers, but the spam is kinda annoying. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. In this spam, I do not recommend doing something like this, because there is a possibility that you will hit it 6 times instead of 5. You should just do 1, wait a bit for the next click, like you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't have to do it like this, because that is just adding extra work for no reason. So we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And see, you have enough of space in this section that it just doesn't kill you. So you don't have to mash the button like that. You can, if you want to. Best way to do this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And all of those clicks at the end are buffers. Yeah, so let's do the part in full once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 1, 2, late, late, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Edsor's part, which is a big choke point. Yeah, definitely a big choke point, because this part is very technical. It is, at first, it seems very difficult. However, I will tell you why it's just not. Here, at the very beginning of the UFO, there's a little trick you can do. You can just miss both of those blue orbs. If you actually want to do this, you want to make sure you're low, and then basically right after you clicked, you just click one more time. So you land right after the soul blade, and then you can do this click right here I am at right now. You go 1, 2, 1, 2. Also, I prefer just doing 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You just click those in the very middle. Around after this blow, you click. Both of those ways are very consistent. It's another preference thing. I prefer doing that with blue orbs, because I have that ingrained in my muscle memory. But I can see a case when you want to do this with just 2 clicks, not 4 clicks. And then here, all of those timings, by the way, all of those orbs you hit in the middle. All of those orbs here. So you go 1, 2, wait. After you are past this blue portal, you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm literally not touching anything, and I'm falling here. So right after you pass this spike, you click, go 1, 2. This ship seems super difficult, but there's a click pattern, of course. For every single ship part, there's a click pattern, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. You do only 8 clicks. You, of course, could do something like this, but that's not necessary. You just do it with the most minimal clicks possible, just because it makes it more consistent. Because if you know when and where to click, you just can put those clicks in your muscle memory. Let go early. You have to just let go 1, 2. That second click, you just want to make sure you are the click needs to be before the speed portal, so you fly perfectly here. You just go 1, 2, 2 clicks. This UFO, you click those blue orbs once again in the very middle. If you go too late on them, you will die to like that. And if you go too early, you will just die like that. So you want to click them in the very middle. Another very interesting part of the level. This click is such a hassle for so many people. But what if I told you that you can make one of the dumbest clicks 100% consistent? What you do is you fall and click this in the middle once. See? I'm not clicking anything. Literally not clicking. Boom. 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 Just click this once, and it just positions yourself to this straight fly. And look, you have even more time. You just land on the 3rd and 4th spike, and this is the portal. So you literally have 1.5 extra space of 1, 2, 3, 4. Right after you transition through the portal, you just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was Edsor's part. Yeah, let's do this in its full glory. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do this with 5 clicks. The very last straight fly. You can do this with 4 clicks. It depends how well you did on the very first click. For example, I did it very lightly, so I needed to do one more adjusting click. So now we get to Havoc, and this part is the moment when your heart is going to be beating really fast. So you want to make sure you are practiced so much with 80 to 100 to the point you can actually fluke it, because this is very flukable. So the part here, you cannot go too early. So you just go kinda late on both of these inputs. You go 1, 2, 3. If you go too early, you will just die, and if you go too late on the yellow orb, you will just not make it. So you want to make sure all of these first 3 clicks are very middle. Middle. And the next one, you just buffer. See, you just buffer, and then you wait to the last second of that blue orb, hit it, and you land on the corner. Just land of the corner on the platform, and then you immediately buffer your click, so you can do the next timing in the portal. Go 1, 2, 1, 2. Of course you can do it like that, which is not what you want to do. But if you go, you just want to make sure you're clicking this super early, and then the next one is a buffer as well. And the very last set of clicks here, this is a very dumb part, because you have to buffer all of these 3, by the way. The 4th one is a fake. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you go as you might see, if you go too late on the last one, you will die in this block. So you definitely want to make sure you are clicking 1, 2, 3 really fast. If you go just a smidgen late, you will die. And you don't care about the last blue orb. This UFO, you have to click only after you enter through the blue portal. Now, this UFO has kind of a secret way to do it, because everyone, what they do is they go 1, 2, 1, 2. They do something like this. However, that's what can happen. So what I do, and what I recommend doing in this part is 1, 2, you jump right before the yellow portal, because that just negates option of dying to this side of the soul blade. You click this pink orb in the middle, but if you click it too late, you can die to... You can very easily die to one of those spikes. So that's kinda dumb. But yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Look how much time you have compared to the original way. You almost died to this. And if you just do, you never are even close to that soul blade. So that's what I recommend doing. You just jump before the yellow portal, and then you want to make sure you are clicking late on the blue one, and then you will always fly here, and then you have to just click once. My recommendation actually is not just mashing the button like that, because, well, you can do it. Yeah, you can, of course, you can just mash the button, even like that, you can of course do it. But you can hit one of those objects in the way, so you should just focus on avoiding the spikes and the saw blades. So there's a spike, click there, there's a spike. If you know where the mini spikes are, then you should just avoid them. A very long sweeping stroke at the beginning, 1, 2, and then you can just focus on this spike here, and then you can just wave until the end. Let's do Havoc's part in full middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bam. Boom. Spike there. You avoid that. Now the transition. This is a cool part because, see, there are invisible blocks. So you just want to go like that. You don't want to fly into the portal like that. You just want to make sure you're going down. However, you also want to make sure you're not going too early, because if you go too early, you will just die inside the block. So you go like this. You just let go at the top side of the portal. You just go high and then go into the Q portal. Giron's part, you have to hit the first 2 orbs late, but you don't hold on the first orb, you just click it, you just tap it, that's it. The second one you hit late and you hold on the second one. 1, 2, 3, late, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold, let go on this portal, so you have enough time of going to this, and then hold on this yellow orb. You don't want to press it too early, obviously, because if you press it too early, you can die to the side. It's very unlikely, but you can. 1, 2, 3, late, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. That part gets a lot of getting used to, but if you follow the click pattern I am showing right now, it gets much more consistent. You just want to make sure you press hard enough to avoid this very first 2 spikes at the beginning. And then we get to the part before the last one, which the first click you just buffer already, and on the second you wait a tiny bit. Why? Because if you buffer this click, you will always die. Your cube at the top will always die to the ceiling, and we don't want to let that happen. You wait a little bit on the next click, and then you click this and hold for a little bit before. You want to make sure you focus on your top cube because it can jump like that, so you want to make sure you hold and then you let go as soon as the top cube is about to land. The first two clicks you can buffer. There is not much philosophy, you just buffer the first two clicks you need to click. This click here, you want to make sure you are going actually kinda late for it, because even if you click it kinda in the middle, you can still die to the top spike. So you go late, and then here, what I do usually, I don't recommend doing that because you can do it, kinda, but you just wait for this ball click. You can die to the top spike if you buffer the UFO click. So just wait the tiniest little bit before actually going for the UFO click. 1, 2, see? That's what can happen. So you wait on the ball click, go super late on the ball click, and then wait the tiniest split second on the UFO click. Yeah, 1, 2, and then click the orb in the very middle. If you go too late, you are just boom. Too early, boom. Very middle. And the straight fly, this straight fly has a problem because the screen moves up. So you have to wait and then start straight flying. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the final ball part is definitely the most stressful part of the level because, well, it's right at the end. It's not the hardest. It's very easy to die to this because all of these clicks are kinda timings. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can buffer most of the very beginning timings because those are set up like that. Late buffer, late buffer, late buffer, late, 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 early, late, late. That's what you do. For the final jump, it's a bit of a trick. Never, by the way, if you're going for this as a first completion, never go the Michigan's route, even though it's kinda cool. It's just too hard to be consistent. Like, you can do this once every 10 attempts maybe before the portal, and then click. I do not recommend that whatsoever. So what you do when you go down, you focus on letter O of Riot. Once you're about to get to T, you just click. Let me show you in Speedhack what I mean. So, we go here. Okay, that's bad. Once I'm about to hit the letter T, I click. See? Once I'm about to hit the letter T, you just click. Still land on like the very end of the block, but once you're about to hit the letter T, you just go. Now let's do this full ending in one go. Boom. That was a tutorial of how to beat Bloodbath. I hope this helped you guys. I hope I managed to show you some of the trickier parts, how to make them easier, how to make some skips, how to make the ship click patterns actually functional most of the time. And hopefully Michigan and Crack's part will be more consistent after I taught you some of the tips and tricks. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope it helped. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.